Hello, world, lovers. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Lovers Quarrel. This episode is brought to you by Gainz Sports Gear. That's Gainz with a Z. And let me tell you about Gainz Sports Gear. They're the best company out. Under Armour, Nike, Adidas. Who cares about them when you can have Gainz? You got to embrace the process.
So am I buying you all the Gainz for your birthday?
I mean, that's all I want. Okay. All I want to wear is Gainz.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
So am I getting like lock and load grips? Am I getting wrist wraps? What am I getting?
Yeah, of course.
Hoodies, hats.
I need a hoodie. Got to get a hat.
Oh, okay. So we just...
The premium leather.
All out.
I mean, listen, it's Gainz.
Okay, I got you. So I need to get you like a current size and a small size?
I just need a current size for right now. Let me lose a little bit of the weight.
Let it get a little baggy.
And let me get a little bag. Now, I mean, once the little baggy, because you know I like my shit tight.
You do like it snug.
So I gotta, So that's all I want.
Snug
Listen,
as
everybody,
a bug in a rug.
You all want Gainz, and I got something for y'all. Because if y'all like me, y'all have a good discount. 10% off. 10% off your first order with using the code LOVERS10. You can't beat that.
You can't.
So, you know what I want.
I do. You're making this a whole lot easier because you are hard to shop for.
Exactly. So, if you want the premier workout gear, Gainz Sport Gear.
If you don't want to be the laughing stock of the weight section at the gym,
you got to get Gainz.
You got to get Gainz.
And now, to the episode.
Let's go. Hey, baby.
What's going on, love?
I figured I'd start talking to you first instead of everybody else.
Listen, I appreciate that. How are you doing? Beautiful.
I'm okay. I can't complain. I got a long weekend looking down the barrel of.
Yeah.
So
it's All-Star Weekend.
It is All-Star Weekend. That was not high on my agenda, but I do appreciate that.
It's high on my agenda.
I know.
I'm basketball, so.
I know. But you know what? I appreciate your love of basketball because it helps me be relatable to my students.
I mean, that's all that matters.
It is. So
basketball is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. I got to text Mandy, see how she's doing when she's out there. I know she's hyped to be.
So,
So, hey,
as we told everyone on a previous episode, we went on Horrible Decision, and it came true.
Exactly.
It aired in episode number 47, and it was a great experience.
Absolutely.
We miss Wheezy.
We did.
She wasn't there, but Michelle was on.
Yes.
And Michelle and Mandy did an amazing job, I would say. Got a lot of good feedback.
Yeah, and I was
expecting a little bit more, but I try not to get my hopes up.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people told me that we did a good job, and I haven't heard anything negative. Not
as of yet, and I know we are definitely craving constructive criticism.
Of course,
and
you only want to grow.
But I am glad that the episode has been well received.
Yeah, definitely. And I thought it was a great opportunity. It was definitely something that I wanted to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that when we met her in 2017, I was like, "Hey, listen, we need to try to get on the show," and we was able to get on the show. It was a great accomplishment, and Mandy's a cool person.
She's a very, very, very nice, very a really great girl.
Yeah. So again, it was just something that it was one of those goals, and I have a whole bunch of more goals for this podcast, but that was one of the top goals that I wanted to achieve, and we achieved it. So
check that off the list.
You can only go up from here. So please listen to the episode 47. Subscribe to Horrible Decisions if you want to hear these women. Is that the right verbiage?
Yes, women. Yes.
You want to hear these women talk about their sexual escapades,
their experiences,
their freedom.
Also, their knowledge, their input. They bring on people with definitely different walks of life.
They definitely do. And what I love about it is that they're just open. They live their life for themselves. They don't really care about society and what society norms are.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect it 100%. So.
And I think what I loved about being on the show is, and especially I think kind of the relationship I built with Mandy, my like kind of, I guess a little independent of even you, is like Mandy and I are, as far as like you're talking about like romantic life or, you know, sexual life or whatever you want to call it, that area, she and I couldn't be on we're so on opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to that. However, we have a common ground that we find in our mutual respect for the way we live our lives. And I think that,
well, that's the openness. That's the
that's
the respect of it. I mean, you have to be open to be able to kind of take their podcast in. I would just say you can't go in it thinking that all women are supposed to act a certain way, and then, you know, you need to have an open mind. And what I did appreciate about Mandy was that she had questions geared towards us.
She does her homework.
Yeah, and I thought that was like super dope, because I wasn't sure if we was gonna go in and it was gonna be like sex questions just straight off the bat. But I thought it was super dope how she handled the interview. And again, I have nothing but praise for the Horrible Decisions podcast.
The Whore Hive.
Is that what they call themselves?
I think that's what they went with, the Whore Hive, because you know this is WHORE, Horrible Decisions.
Yeah.
And and again, just thank you so much to Mandy and Weezy for just opening up your platform for us to get on there, and for us being, I guess, your first monogamous relationship there. We're glad to have popped that cherry. So,
so I thought, you know, that was dope. But, you know, what else has been going on? Oh, Valentine's Day was yesterday.
Valentine's. Don't be one of those.
Well, listen.
You saw the meme. It was just like you fall in love and then you find out a nigga say Valentine's. And
I didn't say times. It's a time.
No, it's Tines with an N.
Yeah, I just said, no. Wait, it's Valentine's ES, right?
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I was Valentine. That's what I'm just... Anyway.
Apostrophe S.
So, I didn't really care about the day. Didn't even think nothing of it. And then I get I am at work saying I had an edible arrangement. And I go downstairs. I had an edible arrangement from Dani. Chocolate covered strawberries. Nice little balloon. Nice letter. And I was so shocked about it. Because, you know, we've been together going on 14 years. And it's just like... It's another day.
Yeah, I get it.
And, you know, I didn't think we were, you know... I didn't think that we were celebrating it. So when I got that, I felt like, oh shit. like I don't have nothing.
I wasn't expecting anything.
Like
I
nothing
really
was planned. Wasn't. Anything like. I mean, I bought you some clothes that didn't
Wednesday.
come.
It's just a Wednesday.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I didn't know we were celebrating, so that took me by surprise. And everyone in my office was like, "Oh my God, she's such a sweet girl," and all this other stuff, and I was like. She alright.
I am sweet.
Debatable. Questionable. But,
you make me salty.
Well, so I thought that was dope. And I wanted to share that little story with everybody. I do appreciate that.
I'm glad.
So with that, we can go into our vents of the week.
And I'm exhaling.
Let me start first.
Okay.
Before you go ham, because I know... I mean... Our vent is probably going to be the same, but I feel like I have other vent.
You have another vent?
Like I have another vent on top of it. So because the other one's going to be so serious, I feel like I should let that one out first.
Okay, so we can start having bringing light?
No, we're going to start light and then go heavy.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, baby.
My thing, one of my vents is going to be people who use you.
And this is the light one?
Yeah, that's light.
Okay.
Like, you know, compared to what we're going to get into, I think this is light.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
So, I hate people who, when they need you, they reach out to you.
Okay,
they ask you to do things for them when they need you.
Yeah.
But when you reach out to them just to say, hey, no response. Or you ask them to do something for you, they can't do it for whatever reason.
Yeah, this is a big peeve of yours.
But they expect you to go out your way and do things. Support me, but I'm not supporting you. That's not how it works. Not how it works. So that's like, as you said, it's one of my big pet peeves. Like, I hate that. Like, don't use people. Like, your friends, your family. You don't use people. And you should never ask someone to do something that you wouldn't do for them. So, that's the light one.
All right.
And then the big one is going to be, as everyone knows, or if you're living under a rock, as Dani loves to say, there was a mass shooting in Florida, correct?
Yeah, Parkland, Florida.
And it was a former student who murdered 17 people. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many people were injured.
Definitely, I think in the dozens. I mean, there's still some people who are hospitalized now.
But they said that he made remarks previously that he would harm people.
He did post a comment on like a YouTube channel or page that he was like, he wants to be a professional school shooter.
And he was like banned from the school.
He was expelled.
Okay, he was
so
expelled.
He was a former student. He
wasn't allowed to have like a book bag, they said.
I believe so, yeah, they were.
But he went to the school and he had an AR-15.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the weapon he used, or?
I believe that was the primary weapon of choice,
okay,
yes.
So he had AR-15 and he murdered 17 people. I know one of them was like a coach who like sacrificed his
the
himself
assistant coach,
for the students.
A teacher.
And it's just like, enough is enough. Like, when are we going to make changes?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm tired of reading about these massacres, and it's just like, we just had one. I think Vegas was the last one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was
58 people dead, 500 injured.
He had like AR-15 too, right?
And
well, he had like I know he had like multiple.
He had an arsenal, and he had it's called the bump stops. But basically, it was like an add-on to the rifles, whatever he had.
And it's crazy because I work with people, and, you know, they from different states. So one of my work colleagues was talking about he wants to build the AR-15. I'm just like, why? Why do you need that? And like, you know, and I get it. In some states, like in North Carolina, you don't really need much to get guns. So like my cousin, shout out to you, Chris. He got a shotgun in his closet. He sleeps with a gun underneath his pillow, and I'm just like, why? Like, he's from New York, but why? Like, and I just think that this is just another sign that we have to make a change. Like, it shouldn't be that easy that someone can make an AR-15.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not at war, but the fact that you can make that in America, and it's not like there's no restrictions or anything like that, is troubling. I'm gonna let you go now because I know you had a.
Yeah, I have a lot of strong feelings about this.
Go ahead.
Where do I want to start? So, I mean, y'all know I'm a teacher, and I think this is the first, big mass school shooting that I can recall since I've become a teacher.
Okay.
And, you know, I vented about this morning on my personal Instagram page. I didn't put it on the Lovers Quarrel page, but you go to school, there used to be places in this world that were off limits. Schools, churches, places where people, where children gathered, like parks, things like that. And now it's just like all bets are off. And I was scrolling through Twitter this morning, and I saw, of course, you know, we're in 2018, we're in the throes of social media. So, and a school shooting happens at a high school, of course, there are going to be Snapchat posts, Instagram posts of kids who were recording what was happening. And the one I saw was a student was recording, and he and his classmates were huddled in a corner, and their teacher was standing, but like kind of right in front of them. And the door opens, and you can see definitely in the body language of the teacher that it's kind of like, who's about to walk in here? Mm-hmm. And it ends up being the SWAT team, but you see, like, you hear audible gasps. You see the teacher jump because she's like, is it help or is it the killer?
Mm-hmm.
And I hear them saying like, hands up, gun, not guns down, hands up, put your phones away. And I got a little like choked up watching it, because when you're in school like that, most of the time, like that's your only job, is to be a student. I tell it to my kids all the time. I'm like, your main priority is to be a student. That's where your focus should be. But how can I go to school and tell my kids that the only thing you need to be concerned about when you're in here is making sure that you're getting your work done and that you're doing your best as a student, when there are people and there are entities in this world that make it possible for you to get to school but not necessarily make it home that day. And just like the fear and the anger that I felt watching this happen. And then I saw another video this afternoon, and it was another of another recording, and these kids are huddled behind like another corner behind a bookcase, but then on the other side of the bookcase you can see the feet,
bodies. I've seen that one.
The feet of a student who have been murdered. And then they like run out the room, and there's like I think they passed like another body on their way out the door.
See, I didn't see that one. The one I saw was they were huddled, and then they were like removing a body.
They carried one girl out who was shot, but then there was a body still on the floor. Yeah, that one. But I think there was another body outside the classroom too.
Okay, I didn't see that one.
How do you explain to parents that like, I send my child to school and they're not coming home? How do you people send their wives and their husbands to school to teach, to educate, and they don't come home? Being a teacher and being a student, being an administrator should not be a health hazard. You know what I mean? Like, and it's happening because, and we already know it's happening because the government that we are a part of are so busy getting their pockets lined by the NRA that they are not going to change gun laws, because they're so beholden to the Second Amendment, because the right to bear arms, that they're not willing to stop people from getting access to these weapons. Nobody that is not in the military fighting in a war requires an automatic weapon. If you have if it's for argument's sake, playing devil's advocate, even if you want to say, well, what about a handgun? Well, what about a hunting rifle? Yeah, okay, if you have a handgun for protection, or a hunting rifle because you live in West Virginia and you hunt deer or something like that, that's one thing. An automatic weapon is meant to decimate a person. Like, what I think sometimes, and I know it's because in the news they're not going to share this or whatever, but like when a person is shot with an automatic weapon, you're not just talking about like a handgun bullet going through the chest, or one bullet or two bullets. You're talking about people being shredded, and
depending on the caliber and everything,
and all that stuff. But
it's multiple.
It's multiple. You're talking about people. You're talking about you're not able to recognize and identify your child or your loved one because they're unrecognizable. You have to identify them by what they had on, but not because you can look at them and see that that's them. That's the type of power we're talking about in these weapons. And then our government is putting them is not putting the restraints and the restrictions in place to prevent this type of stuff from happening. Then
and they just overturned, like, didn't Obama have something? And they overturned it.
Donald Trump overturned or lifted the law or order that was put in place that had stricter regulations on people with mental health issues as far as their access to weapons. Okay. And Donald Trump in February of last year, as soon as he got into office, took that back off the table. And then he wants to tweet about there being, mental health issues. No, that, and the other people should have, told and this and the other. Well, people did report, and I was talking to my sister earlier today, and I was like, I want to hear what they have to say when they like, oh, well, they should have done this. They say, well, instead of taking away our guns, arm the staff. Well, there was an armed guard at that school. SRO, school resource officer, was armed. That was there. You talk about, well, you need to train the teachers and the kids. They had just practiced a lockdown drill. They had a fire drill, but they also have practiced active shooter drills, and that's why they were able to do. But you shouldn't have to do an active lockdown drill. I'm just saying. The point I'm trying to make is like for everything, every check, every box that they've given us as in this world to fight against mass shooters, this school had checked off the list. And yet still 17 people are not going to ever come home. And I am livid. I am frustrated because, like, I know that post of the cycle of mass shootings about thoughts and prayers, and then Facebook debates, and politics of it, of people blaming both sides, and then everybody forgets about it and you move on. And in my heart of hearts, as much as it frustrates me, I know that that's probably what's going to happen with this one. But I just can't put it into words any better than that. But like, it's unacceptable. It's not okay. And now, especially, like, you add on to the top of it, it's like, I work in this field. I am an educator. I'm not saying that I think that I have students that I think would come in and do that, but
there was a scare today.
It was scared at Lock Raven, yeah.
And it was a pellet gun, but
it's still, yeah. And
they talked about that,
and weapons and kids bring weapons to school and all, and those things. But it's just like, it's the access. And to sit there and say that, I have it's my it's my American rights, my civil liberties to have a gun. You know what? The Bill of Rights, the right to bear arms, that came about during the American Revolution or post-American Revolution. So this is when people, when there was no police force, there was no home security systems. This is when people, they had to fend for themselves because they would be the only people around in a 20-mile radius, a 10-mile radius, or whatever you want to call it. These laws, some of them were created for the time that they were in. And like all good things, sometimes they have to be adjusted over time. So my thoughts and prayers have been with the people who've lost their loved ones in this, but definitely. I'm angry.
As you should be. As an educator, as an American,
and as a mother now.
And you can't see the quotes. As a parent, 100%. Like you said, school, churches, and both of those places have been disrespected. It's targeted
multiple times.
The rules that used to apply don't apply anymore.
There's been a school shooting, even if it's not the mass level like this one. They've said we're only 45 days into the year. There's been, basically, if you average it out, one school shooting every 60 hours. One every 60 hours.
So in Baltimore City, do they have anything in place for if a child brings a gun? In your experience?
We do have lockdown drills, and we had one. We definitely had one since the school year. Not the school year began, since the new year. There definitely are penalties. Since I've been a teacher. Penalty? I'm saying, like, if a student brings like a weapon to school. But do we have an armed? No, I'm just saying.
Is there precautions that the schools are being taught to in case this happens? A penalty doesn't mean anything.
Our lockdown drills.
So if a child gets expelled for having a gun, he still knows where that school is at. He can always come back and come shoot it. So I'm just asking, like,
we would have to call school police as best as I understand, and if somebody if a unknown person or a person with a weapon comes into the school building, basically we go into lockdown mode. We lock the doors, we cut off the lights, we move as far away from the doors and windows as possible, and we wait for further instruction.
The officers who are at these schools, do they have guns? Because I was reading.
I do believe so, but
about
in every
the Lock
school,
Raven, and they were saying that.
But I think and that's the county, though.
Okay, yeah. So in the county, they can't have guns.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head. So I don't want to.
No, I'm saying this is what I read.
Yeah, I'm talking as far as the city. I'm not sure.
But yeah, knowing that my wife works in the school, whenever she goes to work in the morning, I have her text me. And it may seem like a lot, but I do it because she's getting up 6:00 in the morning and she's going to school. And again, as she said, school's supposed to be a safe zone, but it's not always a safe zone. Mm-hmm. So the biggest thing we can learn from this is, we can advocate for it 100%, but you have to tell your loved ones you love them. You have to, cherish them and make sure that they know that you love them, and try not to hold grudges. And I'm just saying that just because we don't know those kids who passed away, who were murdered. We don't know what their last words were to their whomever, So that's what anytime death happens, that's what I always take from it. You gotta
tell
love
people how
those.
they feel.
Yeah, you gotta smell the roses while the roses are there.
Yeah, give people their roses while they're around to smell them.
But again, it's a terrible thing, and I feel like America is the only
we're number
place
one for mass shootings and mass
that does
incarceration.
this. But we're worrying about building a wall. That's what's important. Building the wall is the most important thing. But we have mass murders and killings ridiculously, and that's not even a topic.
Yeah, because we're us Americans. We gotta have our guns. It's we're not exercising all of our civil liberties if we can't have a shoot 'em up tournament or something like that. But guys, thanks for letting us vent about that. But these events from the last day really hit close to home, and it just kind of it wouldn't be fair or right if I didn't speak what was on my heart. So I'm venting about that,
as you should. And again, I would say to everyone who listens, advocate.
Vote.
Find ways to get these laws changed, to get things changed, so that way we don't have these reoccurring issues.
Midterm elections are this November, y'all, and I can't emphasize enough how important it is for us to come out and vote, because I'm someone who never really paid attention to politics except for when there was the big stuff like senators, governors, and the presidential election. But we know who's in office, and we know that he trolled his way, as I was just looking on TV, he trolled his way into the White House. And the best way to combat what we are seeing and experiencing in this last year is to get the House out of the Republican control. And that's my soapbox, and I'm standing on it. So voting in midterm elections, getting the Senate and the House flipped, so that way it's the majority Democratic House and Senate is step one in fighting back and being able to kind of put a stop to these crazy laws and bans and things and executive orders, and getting hopefully gun laws changed, saving the dreamers, getting rid of this dumb wall idea, all of that. So midterm elections are coming up. Be informed, and even if you're in a heavily Democratic area, be informed. Gerrymandering is a thing. There's a lot going on. They're trying to keep our voices down. So don't talk about, I'll just do my part in 2020 when the next presidential election comes out.
You do your part now.
Do it now. 2018 is a huge year for us to start fighting back to the bullshit that happened in 2016. And if you disagree with how I feel, you probably don't even listen to this podcast anyway. So
they may listen to the podcast because that's why they're disagreeing.
Oh, they hate listening?
No, I'm just saying that they're probably listening. You're saying if they
don't
agree,
a Donald Trump voter listens to us, you think?
I mean, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. But,
Well, that's me stepping off my soapbox. And so, thanks, guys. Whew, that was a lot off my chest. And I do feel better about that. So I'm glad I was able to vent. But now we can just kind of take it back to relationships and what's going on. And do the relationship tip of the week. And I think, TJ, you kind of touched on it when you said, tell people how you feel before they're, not around. And this isn't as necessarily as morbid, but the relationship tip of the week, you guys, is remind your significant other why you're in this, why you're in this relationship. And what we mean by that is, don't forget sometimes that to tell the person that you love why you love them. What do you love about them? What do you like about them? Because sometimes we'll be like, it goes without saying, he knows I love him, she knows I love her. But not always, especially as the years go by, especially when you get to when you start to hit that long-term status. it never hurts to have those like friendly and gentle reminders of like, I really love the way you take care of me when I'm sick. I love the way you do your hair in the morning. Like, it could be the silliest, dumbest little thing, but work on, just reminding them, because sometimes people need to hear it. Because even if they know that you love them, it never hurts for them to hear it from time to time. And I'm not saying, be phony or be fake or do it every single waking second, but every so often, just throw out a compliment. Tell them why, what you appreciate about them or what it is about who they are as a human being that drew you to them. Because as time goes on, and that's something that TJ and I've talked about a lot, you start to take stuff for granted and you start to take people for granted. And you don't want to do that because, when people feel like they're taken for granted, then, you feel the shift in a relationship. So it costs nothing to tell somebody how not only that you love them, but why you love them. And if you don't have anything to add to that, babe, that will be our relationship tip of the week.
Well, I didn't even get a chance to, so I'm gonna let you continue. All I'm gonna say is I agree, but she closed out already.
Oh, well, no, I said okay. Sorry.
I know, but you can't ask the question and then end it, and that's what you did. So
that's
be great.
My bad.
Listen.
So if you have something to add it.
All I'm gonna say is, just love your partner regardless, even when they do stuff that is anti you. That's another tip for the people out there. But she said it again. People always say, why do relationships get boring? Is because people forget what made it fun. So you have to keep it spicy. You have to keep it fun. You gotta let them know that you love them, just cause. Like I said, the edible arrangements. Although I didn't want anything, it was greatly appreciated. So that's it. You can go ahead and close out this segment part now.
Thank you. Sorry. All right. So now it is time for our...
No, do something different this week.
Oh.
So, I had a question on my mind. So, LeBron James he did something with Uber.
Is that Kevin Durant?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, but I saw it.
So it was just they went to 3 places of LeBron's life, and it was just kind of talking about different things. And it was one of the things that made me say, yo, this is why I love Bron. So for those who don't know, I was calling Bron forever.
You haven't.
And then everybody started being a LeBron fan. Because originally when he came out, everybody was a D-Wade fan, Carmelo Anthony fan. People thought LeBron was going to be a bust. But anyway, and then people started sucking LeBron crazy, so I had to fall back. But anyway, I like this LeBron. All of his moves that he's done, they have a purpose, and it may not seem like it at first. Like him going to Miami, people think he just did it to be with his best friend, which was a part. But what he really was saying is, yo, we're the players. We make the fucking decisions. We make these decisions. So
stick it.
Pretty much. So although people hate Kevin Durant, and the mindset is you're not supposed to go to a team that beat you, cool. That's the competitive edge for us. But the fact that he was able to do it, the fact that people were willing to take less to get to make the team the best, LeBron kind of made it an option.
He set the tone.
Yeah. I feel like LeBron showed people what their worth was, and he's revolutionizing it. He called Donald Trump a bum, and all that being said, I had a question, so I sent Dani this question. I had to think. I thought about it, but the question is, if you could have a dinner with 4 people, who would you invite and why? And LeBron was on there. He's on the top of my list.
I mean, that's my best friend, so he would have been there anyway. But okay.
No, I'm talking. Well, this is my list. I don't know what your list is.
Oh no, I know. He would have come because I invited him for you.
Oh, so you're gonna invite him to your party?
No, he's not. He's not one of my 4, but because he want him to be one of your 4, and he's my best friend in my head.
Oh, you're saying that you would have set that up?
I would have set that up. I got you.
Yeah, she's. Anyway, so LeBron, just because, again, I think he's going to go down as the greatest, even if he doesn't win the championships. We may never see another LeBron James.
Probably not.
6'8".
Can do everything.
Monster. Like, we may never see them again. I mean, again, people rag on him about how much he lost or whatever, but it's not easy winning a championship. It kind of takes me back when people be like, whoever the 12th man is a bum, but in real life, that 12th man will bust your ass. Mm-hmm. I always think about Brian Scalabrine. People always talked about him being trash, and what he did was he did a video where he invited the people who said he was trash
to come play him.
And he was like working them.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, I would put LeBron there. Kobe Bryant gotta go there.
Okay.
The greatest Laker ever.
Got it.
I think he may have one of the best minds ever.
Mm-hmm.
The way he approaches things.
Mm-hmm.
Barack Obama, because he's the first president, African American president. I mean, he's wise as well, but I would love to kind of see him outside of that setting.
Mm-hmm.
And then to end it all, you already know who it is.
Your favorite actor?
Who's my favorite actor?
We were talking about your favorite movie the other day, so I thought.
No, yeah, you don't know me.
Wait, okay, so he said, okay, wait. So LeBron, Kobe, Barack Obama, and I know who it is.
Who?
Drake.
Hey, it's my girl, Drizzy Drake. Drizzy Drake.
Yeah, that would be a dope meal. Everybody would get along. Y'all have
I just want to hear the stories. I just want to learn. I feel like I learned so much, and again, this is my 4. You can have your 4. It isn't a battle. There's no right or wrong, but this is the 4 I think would be just a dope ass dinner with different conversations, different minds, different thoughts. But I think it's just gonna be flowing. I think it would be amazing. So that would be my 4. And Drake, that's my guy. I love everything about Drake. I've never been starstruck, and I wouldn't. But if I had to, if someone was like, "Who would you be starstruck for?" I'd probably say Drake. But
I agree.
When I see people, I'm like, they're human like I am. So
you would be cheesing at least.
I might.
Yeah, but you should. Like,
but I don't think I would
favorite
be.
Rapper.
But I don't think I would be like, "Oh my God, it's Drake." Da, da, da.
No, you
actually,
play it cool.
I might not even be cheesing for real, unless we just vibing. Then I might, you know what I mean. Anyway, but so that's my 4.
Okay.
Who's your 4?
Okay, so if my 4 would be, of course, Beyonce.
I mean,
duh. I also thought I picked Barack Obama.
Okay. Why?
Because similar reasons, like the first African American president and the air of like royalty and confidence and intelligence that he exudes, and basically and plus, wanting to pick his brain about all the things that happened that he couldn't really talk about while he was president.
Exactly.
Is one thing that would be interesting. And just he changed the game. Like, he is historic. He's living history,
Yeah.
And that's definitely one reason why I would do that.
Got you.
I picked Oprah because that's just
the epitome.
Yeah, and I mean in the sense that she has the knowledge. She's been doing this for such a long time, and but also she's very about living your best life, and she's kind of one of those people all of them are those everybody got the same 24 hours in a day, and they get all this stuff accomplished. So that would be kind of a great way to kind of get those tips and tools to live my best life and, you know, those Super Soul Sunday type of, you know, vibes and get that off of Oprah. And then I feel like the jury's still a little out on who my fourth person would be. I could.
That's not how this works. You can't say,
so I gotta pick somebody.
You gotta pick somebody.
See, because you said they had to be alive, and that was the other thing too.
Yeah. I didn't want to do dead people.
Okay. So, if I could have dinner with those, so it'd be Beyonce, Barack Obama, Oprah, and okay, I'm gonna pick the first person that just popped into my head because I felt like it was silly at first, but Rob Dyrdek, because
that is the weirdest four people. But go ahead, I'm listening.
Because nobody has more fun than Rob Dyrdek. I'm sorry.
I will agree with you with that.
And even though he wouldn't fit at the table, but you know what? I think he would make everybody laugh.
He might.
And so that's.
I mean, once you put Oprah in there, I feel like it's just a downer.
No.
I feel like you can't play you gonna have to play all gospel music or.
No,
she don't like rap music. She don't like rappers.
Okay, but
so that already stops
she'll come
the tone.
She'll come for the appetizers and the entree, but she'll leave before dessert.
No,
and then the three of us will hang out.
No, that's not. But
how it works. This is
that's cool though. I mean, I actually like Rob
because sometimes, and I'll admit, sometimes I can be a stick in the mud, and because life is always coming at me on all sides, so sometimes I forget to have fun. And I'm sorry, if you watched, you know, what was it called, the Fantasy Factory or whatever, and then it was on Robin Big. They have a good time all the time.
R.P. Black.
Yeah.
Big. What was it?
Big Black.
Big Black. Yeah. Anyway, but I just thought that was something like, you know, something to kind of throw differently. Like let's see, you know, maybe next week we'll have something different, another type of question or situation, but you know, if you have if you want to tell us your four, I would tweet it or
email it.
No, don't email it. I would tweet it or put it on IG.
And, okay.
You know, use hashtag loversquarrel4, and then, you know,
loversquarrel4.
Yeah, because
we're
choosing four people.
Top four.
So
sorry, that went over my head for a hot second.
All right, so on that note, we will be going on our break. So
all right,
let's hear it from our sponsors.
Guys, this is Dani. Listen to the smooth sounds of my voice. I know that you have a special lady in your life, be it your mother, your grandmother, your girl, whoever. You want to show them that you care, especially if you missed Valentine's Day. So, that being said, go get them a raw handbag. A handbag that comes in all shapes and styles, and it's for the woman that's in your life who can wear it fearlessly, spread womanhood, and inspire. So, check out one of those handbags at www.rawhandbags.com and know that you can get 10% off your first purchase by putting in the code LOVERS10. And with that, let's get back to the show. All right. Hey, everybody.
Welcome back.
It is now time for our listener letters. And what's funny is I think that I actually kind of have like two. One's a really quick one. It was kind of like almost a line with like your top four thing. Mm-hmm. And then a second one where somebody's asking for some help. So the first one, somebody emailed us and said, if you had to compare yourselves to a movie or TV couple, who would you pick and why? I thought that was kind of an interesting one, so I thought I'd throw that one out there first.
Who would you pick and why?
So any couples throughout the history of movies and television, is there anyone that stands out that reminds you of us?
I'm going to say Martin and Gina.
I swear to God, I was going to say that too.
Because I'll kick you out.
Whatever, because you think you a whole lot funny than what you are.
I'm definitely funny, and everyone knows I'm funny, but I'm just saying, like, even now.
And you can be a jerk.
Even now, get the step in. Like, so that's why I would say, if I had to pick one, yeah, Martin and Gina.
Yeah. So I agree. I feel like I thought about Martin and Gina because you're just kind of extra, even though you're lovably extra.
That's crazy to me. So you're trying to say my man Martin is extra?
Yeah, the character Martin Payne, absolutely. And then I am funny, but also I have more sense than you, and sometimes but I love you anyway.
Got a big head, so that makes sense.
Okay, and you got a big head too.
Or if I had to pick another one, I'll do my wife and kids.
Michael Kyle and Jay. So I'm Tisha Campbell no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, listen, y'all both light skinned, so.
Okay, light skin with big heads.
Yeah, apple heads.
Oh my God. Well, I said those. That's what popped in my head. I will say that I feel like our relationship goals couple though is like Beth and Randall.
So that's our relationship goals?
Like, that's who, in the best case scenario, we could be like. You know what I mean? Like, we're not them because we're not just like them, but they're like who we could be, our best versions of ourselves could be like, you know?
Got you.
Because, I mean, Beth and Randall are like, they make This Is Us.
That's because you just don't like the other siblings.
I don't like Kevin. I don't like Kevin. Kate got her dad killed. So.
Listen.
I mean.
The mother.
Who's left? Randall.
The mother married the best friend. She got to go.
But she didn't marry him until years later.
That don't mean nothing. I mean, they were plotting.
They were not plotting.
Technically, they've been planning.
They haven't been planning anything. No.
I know Jack is in heaven. Like, this is some bullshit.
Listen. Kevin can go somewhere. He is super uber entitled. Kate is just a hot mess, and she doesn't deserve Toby. So that leaves beautiful ass Beth and Randall, and their black love, and that black boy joy, and that black girl magic, and them beautiful kids. They're the best. They are the best.
I guess.
Hands down. He is the best triplet.
Sound racist.
He's the biggest of the big three.
I guess.
Well.
So
that was our little mini question. And then here is our actual listener asking for advice question. So it says, "Hey, Dani and TJ. I'm writing because I'm trying to settle a debate between my boyfriend and I. We were talking one day about marriage and weddings.
Don't do it.
And he said, shut up. And he said that he believed it was the woman's family's primary responsibility to pay for a wedding. I thought he was joking until he told me again how he would only expect to have to kick in some money here or there for a wedding because my parents should be holding most of it down. How do I address this with him and let him know that this arrangement is not going down? Sincerely, Anonymous."
Anonymous, you got a crumb bum. So first off, I must say that crumb bum has now become a part of the vocabulary.
Crumb bums unite.
So, yes, you got a crumb bum. You know, I'm going to say it goes into what you're taught, what you know.
Well, he was taught wrong.
I'm just saying, I would like to know why he believes that it should come from that. Like, why should his girlfriend's family pay for it?
It's got to be some archaic, like, belief that, because, you know, when I take her on as a wife, I'm taking her on as like a financial responsibility. Because, yeah, back in the day, the daughters, you know, the father took care of his kids and specifically his daughters until a husband came along and took the daughter off his hands.
I get that.
So, like, that's why, like, dowries and stuff were in place.
So,
but that was ancient.
But no, but what if it's like a religious thing or like what if his family believes in that?
Well, you're going to have to find that out, Anonymous, because
that's why I said we would need to figure it out more. I would have the conversation with him, but I would ask him, why does he believe that this is the case? Is it that he can't afford it? And if he can't afford it, then you shouldn't marry him, period. But, you know, there's something there more that you have to figure out. Let me just see that. I just want to see what the...
Yeah, he's... I don't know if there's something there. I just think...
Maybe he just don't know...
Like, sexist.
I think you're jumping into that conclusion. Maybe he just don't know how weddings work, you know? Maybe he just believes that, you know...
That's what he saw.
It's something that you want. So you want this, so you pay for it, you know? I don't know. But to address it with him, I would definitely sit down and kind of talk to him to figure it out. Why does he believe that this is even the way?
Yeah. Because if he's just misinformed, then that's one thing. But I don't know. He kind of sounded like he doubled down on it. Because like when she said it came up again. But.
And then, it also comes back to her. Because if it came up twice, you thought he was joking the first time. So that come like second time, what did you say to him then? Mm-hmm. Because you didn't. It doesn't sound like you said, no, this is how it's going to be. And now we're having a big argument about it because it seemed like he said it and you brushed it off. He says it again and you didn't defend it or ask the questions then, hence the email. So I would recommend having that conversation with him because, again, if this is the person you're going to spend your life with, you need to know these things.
Yeah, because a wedding, they always say that the wedding is for the wife or for the woman or whatever, but the marriage is for both of y'all. So
it is.
If he's trying to wife you and you guys are trying to take those next steps, then he has to know that he's got to meet you halfway.
Or maybe he just needs to become more cultured. Sometimes that happens.
Well, she needs to start exposing him soon because otherwise I don't know if that's going to work out. I'll say this. TJ and I paid for our wedding. We had help from our parents, but there was never an expectation that one was kicking in more than the other. It was a collaborative effort, if anything, but never it was an expectation that like, oh no, you should cover everything because you want this, you want that. Even when TJ wanted certain aspects that he wanted that I didn't necessarily agree with.
Like what?
Like you were inviting the world.
But see, I was misinformed.
You were misinformed, but it wasn't like I was like, well, you got to pay for these people that you add.
Yeah, but even with that, I told you I'll pay the extra money for those people.
You did, but right. You offered. But my thing is like I didn't tell you that you had to do that. You know what I mean?
No, I get that. But you were fighting. Like, you got to take these people off.
You did take these people. You had people who you didn't even know their last name on our wedding list.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
I'm close with those people. I just didn't know
You're so close, but you can't
I
tell me their
last
last
name.
Then you're not that close.
No, I don't agree with that.
How close can you be with somebody if you don't know their last name?
I don't agree with that.
Unless they have no last name.
Not necessarily.
Maybe that's another debate, but
I have friends that I grew up with that I was close with when I was younger, and I can't remember their last name
because you grew apart because you're no longer as close with them.
I guess all I'm saying is
when I ask you your best friend's name, you can give me his first, his middle, and his last name. If I ask you somebody else's name and you could be like, you'd be like, so and so.
There's different levels of closeness. Just because you're not. Well, first off,
but
I'm popular.
Last name basis is definitely in the close range. If you don't know that, it's the not close range.
I guess.
I know.
No.
Yes.
You just live by different rules.
You can't be like. So you'd be like, "This is my homie." But you can't tell me their last name. You couldn't send them a letter if you wanted to.
I could. You don't have to have a last name to send a letter.
Oh my god.
Am I lying?
No, you're not.
I know I'm not. So, boom. Bye.
You're still wrong.
Anyway, listen. At the end of the day, I was paying for it, and you know this works perfect. This goes right into our quarrel with financing and finances. The quarrel of the week is finances. Should couples...
No romance without finance.
Should couples disclose, like, money situation? Like, should they talk about money? Should they share money? Should they have joint accounts? Should they get okays for purchases? Mm-hmm. And with, like the wedding, if I was going to invite people, I was paying for it. So...
And I was... Even though I understood that, I felt like it was also a matter of principle. Like, don't sit here and try to front like you cool with this person when you.
But that doesn't mean I'm not cool with them.
Okay, not that they're not. Don't say you're close. You can be cool with somebody, but don't say you're close.
I don't
with somebody.
agree with that, but okay.
So, I say this: when you're in a relationship, a long-term relationship where you're married, I would for big purchases, things. So. If you have joint accounts and separate accounts, because I know some couples who everything's all in one pot together.
Fuck no.
And I know other couples where everything's separate, and then some people meet in the middle. And I feel like me and you are kind of the meet in the middle, because we do have like a joint savings account.
We became in the middle
after we got married.
No.
Before we got married?
No, it was not. It was when Tatum was conceived.
I feel like we had a joint savings account before that.
We didn't. It became, or maybe the year that, so Tatum's 2017. So like 2016, we created a joint account. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't. So from 04 to 2016, we didn't have a joint account.
But didn't we have one where we could? It was like for like savings, like a joint, like just a savings one, like to pay down.
We had a joint savings
because I was supposed to give you money every like paycheck.
We had a savings to pay for the wedding.
Okay, so we did have something that was together, but it was.
But what I'm trying to say is that it was for a goal.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
We didn't have, like, I know some couples who they have a savings account. They have a joint account that pays all the bills.
Yeah.
Like that is their account. Money goes in there, and that's what they use to. We don't do that.
No.
Send me that bread. I'll send you that bread, and that's where we at.
This is true, but it works for us.
It does. So the quarrel is: should you share accounts? I'm gonna say no, not 100%.
I'll say
you should have your own account, and then you can have a joint account. And then if you need to make purchases out of the joint account, then yes, you should ask for permission. But if you have your own money and your bills is paid, and you want to go buy sneakers or electronics,
or
I shouldn't have
trips.
to ask you. Or go on trips, I shouldn't have to ask you.
Well, and now
we can talk about it. I'm gonna let you know that I'm doing something.
Of course, I think.
But I don't think I should have to tell you or clear it with you.
But I also think that even if you're making purchases out of your money, as long as your money doesn't get funny when it comes to the bills, then you know you have a right.
Well, that's never happened.
Well, I'm not saying it has. I'm just saying like because there's some people out there who will be like, well, it's my money, but then it's like the light bill hasn't been paid.
I get that, but that's why I just want to put the disclaimer out there. That's never happened. Because Dani hates that I buy sneakers.
You buy too many sneakers. You shop too much.
Or electronics.
You shop too much.
I mean, whatever, but I still got money. And it works for me.
And you know what? And I don't even necessarily think I have a problem with the fact that you shop too much. I just hate the fact that, like, you shop. It's the quantity in which you buy things. Because, yeah, you're right. Bills always get paid, roofs over our head. But, you know, like, there'll be, like, stacks of stuff. Because you treat it like a wardrobe, like a dressing room. And then you send a bunch of stuff back.
I do. I got to buy different sizes. Different things fit differently. And
you know what? I'm my father's daughter. I just never have been that, like, dedicated to, like, the shopping process. Like, I like to get what I need and keep it pushing. But back to the finance thing. I do think it's important that, like, if you're trying to make, like, you should let your significant other know, like, hey, I'm doing a girls trip. I'm going to be, you know, going this time or whatever. But, like, the expectations be like, okay, well, then that's coming from your money. You should not, if you guys have a joint account, unless you make sure that that's, like, cleared. Like, I'm not gonna say, like, ask permission, is that what I'm gonna say, but make sure that it's cleared. Make sure that we're all on the same page. I'm not
asking for permission to purchase something with my money.
I'm talking about, I said if you had a joint account.
Yeah.
So, like, if you were trying to take money from a joint account and say, hey, I want to treat myself, I want to go on this trip, as long as you and your significant other are on the same page, then by all means. But, you know, sometimes it's good to have something separate from that person, I think, because
100%.
you have that money to play around with on your own, to do what you will. But I also feel like you should not press the other person about how they spend their money on. So even though you hate when I say, I understand, like, you know, because when I have asked you about your sneakers and stuff like that, you'll be like, it's my money and I can do what I want with it, basically. And I'm like, okay, fine. But then at the flip, you don't like when I do that to you. But then when I said I want to, you know, I'm talking about, I might go on a trip, you're like,
all I asked was,
where you getting the money from?
I asked that question because we've had conversations and you would be like, you don't have it or whatever.
And so have you, though. You'd be like, I'm broke.
Well, that's just, I'm
always
always
just saying it to be funny.
I'm not saying to be funny. I'm always going to say I'm broke. And my sense of being broke is that
I don't have enough money to buy sneakers this week.
No.
Oh, okay.
If I wanted to go buy sneakers, I could because I have my own savings.
Yeah, okay.
But I don't want to have to use my savings. So that's what I'm broke means for me.
Okay.
Your I'm broke means that you don't have it. So that's what I'm saying the difference is. I don't care what you do or where you travel, but when someone says, I'm a big believer in when you say things, but then you do something different, I look at you differently. Mm-hmm. So if you're saying, I have no money, I can't do this, I can't do that, but you're paying for a trip, then it's like, where's this money coming from? Because you just said you didn't have any money. Whereas me, I have money. I have different accounts in different places. So if I really wanted to, I could. But I just say I'm broke because if I live like I'm broke, then I won't overspend. That's my philosophy.
I mean, okay, I get what you're saying, but then you're still like your definition of broke and my definition of broke are, I guess, two different.
Yeah.
Are skewed, and
yours is like I'm really broke, and mine's is like figuratively. Would that be the right way to say it?
Figuratively, yes, but. And I guess I'll say this is that, however, I would never spend something or do anything like big if I didn't have the money to do it. So if I'm saying, you know what, funds is low right now, I'm not gonna like go out and go wild and crazy or go shopping or book a trip or whatever. But I think that when it comes to, you know, if we're gonna get back to like people's relationships in general, not just me and you. Money can be a big point of contention. It's
a big. It's not that it can. Most of the times it is. Most breakups have something to do
based.
with finances. Finances and kids.
Definitely
are probably the biggest things. So my recommendation is always going to be speak, have communication, set up what is right. Like set up everything. But you need to be able to have that open communication.
Expectations.
Yeah. Again, I'm not going to pay for a trip if I can't successfully pay for it. Like, if I have to use my credit card to pay for a trip, then I would not want to do that now. Like, any trip that, like, my trip that I'm going on when I go to Houston, I paid for that in cash. Like, that's my new thing. I don't want to have to rely on credit or rely on, let me pay for it now, and then I'll pay it back with the next paycheck or whatever, because then you just continue growing that debt. So that's all I'm saying is the bigger picture. But as couples, you need to have that conversation on how you want to move. Because again, that works for me and Dani.
May not work for you and somebody else. And you got to have that thing. It's like, is it what's mine is yours, what's yours is mine, or is it what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours? Because otherwise, you're going to have a whole lot of confusion. I do think that you definitely need to have, like, the conversations, but I also feel like you have to be mindful of, like, what you're spending it on. Even like, or, like, sometimes appearance, like, how it looks matters, too. But I like the... to your significant other. Like, I think that, you know, even, I guess what I'll say is this, is that, like, even if you have the financial part under control, like, if you have habits that you invest a lot of money in or whatever, like, maybe you want to reassure your spouse, like, hey, you know, at least in the time, maybe in the initial stages, like, hey, I know that this is something I like to dedicate a lot of my time and finances and resources towards, but I'm showing you, I'm letting you know that everything else is good on this end. So you could do that as well. It's my suggestion. You know, I like the idea of, like, you got separate things and then maybe you have, like, one shared thing, because if you want to pay the bills out of it, or if you want to have your emergency fund as a shared thing that you put money in, or something for your children, then that's perfectly fine. But then you also got something on the side that's just for you. That way, you know, your day-to-day stuff, you don't have to, you know, nobody else has to worry about that but you. So I think you and I agree but disagree. Like we're not like total ends of the spectrum on this one, but I think that we definitely have like different opinions sometimes about like what said money is being spent on. But that's just me and you.
Yeah, I mean, again, you just don't like me. And I do have a lot of sneakers.
You have too many sneakers.
I mean, but you can never.
You said yourself, you got sneakers that you've not even taken out the box, and it's been like 2 years. That's you don't think that's a tiny bit problematic?
I mean, listen.
Shoes are meant to be on your feet.
They are, but you can't just wear them with anything.
You can't just wear. So you haven't found anything in the last 2 years to rock some of these shoes with?
Some of the shit you just can't. Like I got the white and royal 16s. I wore them once, but they white. You know what I mean? You get one scuff and then that's over for them. Feel me?
So why buy them? To look at?
Oh, not because they're fire. I needed them.
And like these shoes repeat. You know what? I say that.
What do they repeat? What do they repeat?
You know I don't know these words.
They do repeat colors
numbers
and stuff like that. So I don't. I mean, I try not to buy them as much as I used to. Mm-hmm. But it's All-Star Weekend and there's some heat coming. I'm sorry, but I wanted y'all to feel my heat because there's some heat coming. And
so what should I be looking for? How many boxes should I look at the door?
Shit, I don't know how many I'm gonna get.
See, and I guess you know what, and it's not your fault, but there's just nothing, y'all, that I'm like that passionate about. Like, I'm not so hung up on sneakers that it's like anytime that they come. My hobby is
you gotta find something.
My hobby is being your wife and Tatum's mom. That's my hobby.
Oh.
Trying to keep my head above water right now.
Oh, okay.
I don't have time to be...
Teaching's your hobby.
Teaching's my passion.
Okay, that's your passion. I'm not your hobby.
Oh, my goodness. So...
But to each his own. All I'm saying is...
You about to... Oh, my God. Y'all, please...
Listen.
You know what? Lovers...
On next week's...
Let's hold an intervention for TJ.
No, we don't need an intervention. Next week, guys, I'm going to let you know.
When you buy sneakers, I feel like... That's the sentence starter.
No, next week, I'm going to tell y'all how many y'all won. Because listen, there's some gems coming out, and everybody's coming out. And that's probably going to be my event next week.
About the shoes you can't get?
About the motherfucking people who buy shoes, and they're not sneakerheads. They're just buying it to resell it. We'll talk about it next week. Anyway, I love you.
I love you too.
That sounded so forced and
it was not
phony.
Forced. That was like sultry.
Nah.
Listen, the listeners have been saying that they love the sound of my voice.
One person told you that, and
now
now you feeling yourself. Yo, you are something else.
I'm just saying that's just
you are something else.
That was it was a solid review.
I know you very well.
It was a solid.
I know you very well. Okay.
No, and actually, Mandy said I sound good too.
Okay, it's two people.
Okay, that's two. That's two more than you.
You're right.
Nigga.
You're right. Well, again, to the lovers out there, thank you for listening to us.
Yes,
and
as
kind
always.
of go back and forth and get a little bit more into our lives.
Exactly. Let's start
please
the hashtag.
Continue sending. Go ahead.
Start the hashtag. Save TJ from his shoe addiction.
That's too long. Nobody wants to write that.
Okay.
But what y'all can do is continue sending those emails to us.
loversquarrelshow@gmail.com.
Follow us on Lovers Quarrel Show on IG.
And loversquarrel7 on Twitter.
And I be on that Twitter crazy.
Yeah, I can't keep up with it. I be trying to get in there here.
See, I used to not like Twitter because it was too much, but now it's kind of like, oh.
Yeah, Twitter sometimes we can talk about that too.
You only liked it because it was Black Twitter. That's what you.
I mean,
like.
Black Twitter is the best.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
We're gonna have to be on a social media blackout until Black Panther. We go see Black Panther on Tuesday.
I mean, it's nothing anyone can say that's gonna mess it up. It's not like a movie where someone can say something that's going to make you be like, damn.
I know, but I don't want anything.
I think you're too pressed. It's not that serious.
I am a little pressed, but that's okay. I can be pressed.
You can, but I'm just saying, they could say we know who the villain is. They could say that a cameo is going to be in there. It's not going to ruin, at least for me.
It's not going to ruin everything, but I just I don't know.
And I'm
excited.
I don't think you can not look at social media for whatever.
I can scroll past things though.
Yeah, you can, but I don't think you can be like, oh, no social media. I'm going to freeze it out until it.
Is that a challenge?
You definitely can't.
Oh,
Also,
I think I can.
We'll be going to the Read Live.
Yes, this weekend.
So
yes.
thank you, Shayla, for those tickets.
For my Christmas present.
You see, I said mine because she got
Sorry.
Shayla got us these tickets, but
oh my God.
I mean mine. So we'll talk about that and that experience.
I gotta hit the pop-up shop.
This is our third live show.
Mm-hmm.
We're just
sticking and moving. Them. Exactly.
So again, thank you for listening.
Oh wait, we got some. We'll have some new heat for y'all next week with special guests coming. Some things down the pipeline, and we'll announce that a little bit later on next week.
You already said it, so you know what I mean. We'll be teaming up with Rock B. Wildin of Unpopular Opinion.
It's gonna be a twofer.
He's a fellow A. Philip Randolph alum.
Yeah, the best and the brightest.
That's my guy, and we're going to pick his brain, man. Again, please listen with the podcast and just with anything in general. Support those who support you. So
absolutely.
Again, Horrible Decisions. Find them online, on iTunes, SoundCloud, and then you have Unpopular Opinion with Rock B. Wild. That's on iTunes and SoundCloud. So listen, support,
subscribe.
Again, we do this for y'all, so give us the feedback that we need to just be better. But we appreciate y'all, and thank you for tuning in.
Alrighty. So, like TJ said, this has been another episode of Lovers Quarrel, and as always, we fuss.
We fight.
But we love. Good night.
Love you.
I love you too.
Oh, that sounded better.
Oh my God.
That sounded better.
He's so demanding. Sell your sneakers.
Nah, I can't do that.
Sell them.
I can't do that. Won't.
Listen, if we ever go broke, first thing to go.
Oh, I mean, we go broke. I got you.
We can't live in a shoe.
I got you.
All right.
I got some heat that, you know what I mean? They're going to be like, oh.
You're going to be the freshest homeless person ever. Bye.